What's going on, everybody? Brian the Leafs guy here. I've been making a little series of going over different players that the Leafs could trade for and should trade for or potentially look at to improve their team, specifically their defense. And I want to go through a really big candidate today, one that I have my eyes on and one that I would really love to have on the Leafs. Let's get right into it. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. It's so great to have everybody here. Brand new channel, looking for 1,000 subscribers to be monetized, so please chuck a subscribe down below to help me out. But let's get out of that right away and get into the topic of the day, which is a big Leafs trade that I hope can happen, and a player that I think the Leafs should really look at. And as you can see the picture here, we have Adam Larsson from the Seattle Kraken. If you don't remember, Adam Larsson was the one-for-one trade back in the day with Taylor Hall that blew everybody's minds. Edmonton Oilers traded Taylor Hall away to the New Jersey Devils, and they got Adam Larsson, and New Jersey got Taylor Hall, and everybody's mind blown because Hall was already a star, and Larsson hadn't really proven himself yet in the NHL. Larsson has really come alive over the last few years with the Seattle Kraken. He was one of the big reasons why they played 14 games in the playoffs last year. He was their number one defensive defenseman, huge minute-munching defenseman. He's a right D. He's big, he's physical, he's defensively responsible, and he had a huge year last year. And he's playing a lot of ice time this year with Seattle as well. He's done such a great job. So his contract, he's $4 million a year for this year and for next year. He has a 10-team no-trade list, so who knows if the Leafs are on that list or not. But there's 10 teams he can't go to, meaning there's 21 that he can be traded to, and the 22nd would be Seattle, who he's already on. So I made a few trade proposals here, one where we take on his full cap hit, and the other one where we take on, where they retain half of it. So the reason why I think this is viable is because Seattle is not in a playoff spot right now. If we look at the West is actually really tight. Let me pull this up right now. Hold on. Okay, we pulled it up. So Seattle has actually just crossed into the wild card territory. They have 41 points in 39 games played. I've been looking at this for a while. So Seattle actually they've gone on a 6-game winning streak. So before the 6-game winning streak, they had very few points. They were on pace for 74 points. So every time I do this, every few days, I'm like, okay, they're only on pace for 72 points. They're only on pace for 77. They're on pace for 78. Now they're on pace for 86 points. They're on pace for 86 points right now. That's with a 6-game winning streak. I tell you, like 2 weeks ago, they were on pace for 70-something. So they have creeped in because the West is so not deep. They have 6 teams basically running away with it who are doing really well in the West, and the other ones are just not struggling. They also have Arizona has games in hand. Edmonton is kind of catching up. So they're squeaking into the conversation, but they weren't in the conversation for a while there. But I think selling might be the best idea for them. So this is why I view them as a good trade target. So the first option, Adam Larsson to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a first-round pick, 2/3, and then a prospect. Ovchnikov? Or forward prospect. He has 9 points in 18 games with the Marlies. He's just a mediocre prospect. He's 21 years old. So I didn't put a high-end prospect here, but a first 2/3. If we remember back to last year, Philip Honrick got a first and a second, and he was a top-pair right defenseman with control. He went to Vancouver. That first-round pick ended up being the 17th overall, which this should not be. So it's assumed that this pick is worse. So this would be the base package for Adam Larsson. How he slots in, how I view him slotting in, would be right beside Morgan Rielly. He's super defensive. He's very physical. He is strong. He's just a great defenseman and be a very good complement to that pair. I've been saying for a while now that our defense needs more size and it needs more puck-moving ability, and he really adds that size. And he doesn't do a terrible job either of putting up some points. He puts up points from time to time. Last year he got 33 points. Nothing crazy. This year he has 11, so he's dipped a little bit. But the biggest thing is he's physical. He's defensively responsible. And he fit really well beside Morgan Riley. So I have that as the first pair. Second pair of McCabe and Brody. I know they didn't do well during the playoffs last year, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and try that again. If not, Liljegren's going up. And then Giordano Liljegren as our third pair. But we still have Benoit, who is having a great year, who's doing really well. He has no points, but he's very physical, and he's defensively responsible, and he's long with Timmins. So this would be our top 8. I think this is a really good top 8 group. And then the rest of the roster is as we have right now. I put Ryan Reeves on long-term injury reserve. I don't know what's happening with Ryan Reeves. Ultimately, if he comes back, we are going to push over the cap, so we'll have to drop down to a 21-man or 20-man roster. Either way, I just put him there for now. For simplicity's sake, I think it would be very easy to deal with the situation when Ryan Reeves comes back. So that's option number 1, Adam Larsson. Option number 2 is at 50% cap reduction. The only adjustment that I did was I changed the prospect to Topi Niemela, who is our right D prospect, who is a 3rd round pick. I want to say 2021? In 2020. 3rd round pick in 2020. In 2021, he actually won Defenseman of the World Championship, the top defenseman of the World Championship. So 2021, he won the best defenseman at the World Championships, the World Junior Championship, sorry. And he's having a great year in the AHL right now. As a defenseman, he's +6. He's played 27 games. He has 17 points. He's getting bigger, too. I know his size and weight. Last I heard, he was over 6 feet tall, and he was 180. I'm not too sure. It's hard to predict. This is saying 5'11", 160, which is tiny. But he's definitely bigger than this, last I heard. Cat Friendly just has not updated that yet. He's a very good prospect. I don't love trading him, but if I do trade him, it would be in a scenario like this. So we'd have Adam Larsson for this year and for next year at half cap. I feel like this is very generous in terms of, or very unlikely. Obviously, it happened with McCabe last year. Dubas traded quite a bit to get Jake McCabe at half cap hit, which made all the difference in terms of us being able to create a solid decor. So I think this would be such a great scenario. In this situation, we have a 23-man roster. I put Reeves up, and we have cap space to play with. So we would have the ability to make more trades, maybe add another forward as well, or add a goalie. Because right now we have Joseph Wool and Martin Jones in net. So far, Jones is playing well. Wool is hurt. So we'll see how this all plays out. But Adam Larsson, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. I think he would be the perfect fit. He's 30 years old. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but he's 30 years old for this year and for next year. He's 31, actually, for this year and next year. So it would be hard to trade all of this for somebody who is getting up there in age. But I think for the next 2 years, our team would be so strong with Adam Larsson. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I so appreciate you being here. I'll be creating more content on a regular basis. Brian the Leafs guy, out of here.